Hello friends and welcome to my channel. Today we will make this adorable Valentine's liquid shaker card using Lawn Fawn's Would You Be Mine stamp set. Let's get started. I am going to start by stamping my card's elements. It's better to start with this step to let the ink dry before painting the figures with your markers. That way the designs won't get smudged. For this card, I used these two adorable beavers eating a heart. They really match the whole Valentine's theme. Later, we will transform the heart into a window for a liquid shaker card. To create the background, I stamped the two logs and the plants from the set. Lastly, I stamped the bow to accessorize one of the beavers and make it look even cuter. I wanted the card to look like a riverbank, so I used different shades of blue. As you can see, I used washi tape on the bottom of the card because I wanted to cover the part from the blue inks. Later I will paint it brown to look like the ground. Even though I used 4 different shades for the river, I wanted the colors to blend together, so I used the same blending brush for all of them. But if you want to create a gradient blue color, that would also look amazing. If you choose that option, I would suggest starting from the lighter shade to the darker. When you're done, very carefully peel off the washi tape and place it at the end of the blue color. If you don't want the ground to be a straight line, you can use a stencil or cut your masking tape to be uneven. Personally, I didn't mind because the plantation will cover the line. To create the filling for the liquid card, you will need a Ziploc bag and some liquid or gel. I used shampoo, but you can also use hand soap, hair gel or even baby oil for a more liquid result. To color the gel, I used rose gold metallic pigment powder. If you want to avoid this part, you can use a shampoo that already has color in it. I also added some pink glitter and some chunky glitter hearts. When you're done mixing the gel, you add it to the Ziploc bag. Don't forget to close it well and check for any leakages. I also added some washi tape on the opening of the bag to make sure that nothing leaks out, but this is not really a necessary step. The stamped elements are now dry enough and ready to be painted. Before you do any of this, you need to cut out with an X-Acto knife the center of the heart. I first placed underneath the paper an old cutting board. Use the knife to carve the heart, paying extra attention to the details. Now it is time to do the fun part, painting the elements of the card. I didn't have many brown markers, so for the beavers I used a lighter shade of brown. A useful tip if you don't have many markers is to let the ink dry and then paint the same spot a second time. That way you will get a darker shade without buying a second color. For the tail and legs, I used a caramel brown color. Keep in mind that even though the ink is dry, there is a possibility that your marker still picks up some of the blank ink and might smudge the picture a little. To avoid that, clean the tip of the marker every now and then by writing on a scrap piece of paper or, in my case, the back of my hand. I also added some pink on the cheeks and noses to make the beavers look cuter. For the plants, I used green and gold yellow shades. For the logs, I used the darker shade of brown I had. You can create two-tone results by painting the same spot twice. That way, you will get a more natural result because tree trunks often have darker patches. For the cut part of the log, I used the same shade I used on the beavers. It is time to finish our card's background. I placed the large log and the beavers on the center of the card and stamped the sentiment. Then, with a pencil, I marked where to cut the heart-shaped window we will use to be able to see the liquid shaker. You don't need to pay too much attention to details when you cut out the heart, because any mistakes will be covered by gluing the figures on top of it. I also added 2 extra heart windows to make the card look more interesting. To glue the different parts on the card, I use some white craft glue. Make sure to press everything really well. After I glued the log, I felt that something was missing. Then I remembered that the stamp set has some wave stamps. So I added some waves here and there using the dark blue ink I used when I painted the river. I didn't want my plants to be in a straight line, so I glued them on different lengths of the riverbank to make them look more natural. Plus, this is a great way to cover any problem areas in your card. If there is something you don't like, just glue a plant on it. To attach the Ziploc bag with the gel on the card base, I used double-sided tape and placed it on the center of the card. As you can see, it's so easy to move around the gel. Because the bag was a little bit bulky, I had to use foam tape to attach the two pieces together. All you have to do now is place very carefully your card on the card base. Your card is now ready. It is so fun to press on the hearts and see the gel moving around. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my channel for more card making tutorials. See you next time!